and take this, because you don't want to have a bogey team. You don't want to have a squad in that bracket that you look at and go, we don't know how to play them right now. We do not want that opportunity. We want to make very early claims here that we're actually able to match up with you completely. Because the thing is as well, in the last tournament, it was a 3-0. Like, it wasn't close. It was not pretty. And Thieves were very much bounced out of there. So you're looking across that table, and no doubt, you've got someone like Scrappy. He's looking over, and he's like, I want to be able to tell those players exactly what I think of them, get into their heads, and remind them that I'm the MVP this year for very good reason. And well, I mentioned it before. There's 4 players on that stage who have, no doubt got questions about where their futures lie. They want to answer them far cleaner by the end of today.
Yeah, they certainly do indeed. As you can see, Ray is in just the best spirits. He's just been bopping around that floor. Every single match we've seen so far, he's just smiling ear to ear. He knows how confident he is in his team. I think that speaks volumes to me. That is everything that I need to see as a player on that stage, is that I look back and my coach is smiling, happy as Larry. Nothing can shake his mood, and he is feeling fantastic about the team. We're also hearing some choice words behind us as well, as the guys are clearly quite loading into game right now. Nasty with the coffee. He's getting fueled up, ready to go for this one, because it's a long evening, gents. It really is. It
is indeed. If you could send one of those my way, that'd be absolutely superb. But yeah, I mean, you're right about the fact that Ray looking great in the back. You want to feel like when you're a player, you've got that protection and that love over from your coach, and they're certainly getting that. Sender early on was having a fight with a chair that we can see just peeled off there to the right-hand side, so not sure what that was all about. But he's getting very loud, trying to get his boys pumped up for this one. And so many things come into the start of this. We have got both teams, of course, with plenty of storylines, no love lost at this stage of the season, and these opening hills are going to tell us so much about what we need to know. But no more waffling about it. We have now got Vancouver Surge against 100 Thieves, rolling away with Map 1.
Go on, lads, take it away. Why not?
All right, let's get into this one. It's sure to be a fun time as these two titans of Call of Duty Esports will go to work. Of course, P1 never normally the greatest kind of opener, because both teams playing for position, playing for kills, and just basically shaking all the rust off.
Now indeed, as we get these couple of exchanging blows. Of course, at the minute, just about finding your footing, but Scrap will get himself a nice little 2-piece here, and then some damage into a Boozer as well to help with the trade. So, opportunity to find that flow. Envoy 0-2, trying to work his way over towards this new hill. Might slip the net for just a second, actually. Spots 2 back Elephant and finds those 2 kills as well. We'll start to look towards setting up this P2, but he's going to have to deal with Nasty if he's going to steal those spawns away.
Envoy just not able to get that gunfight towards the back here, and at the moment, you can see these two teams really not wanting to give away too big of an advantage. Just trades in abundance around the hill, but it will be the team of Surge that do start to turn the tide.
Boozer going to push out through Laundry here to rid Ghosty and starts to get that defensive setup in place. Something Surge do so well. Some teams, they get themselves that defensive hold, they just draw a line in the sand. Surge, they want to get pushed out as far as they can. All about that pressure, but Thieves, they find kills over by 18-wheeler, and they're not far from pushing up here.
Boozer on 5. Just continuing to slay out, continuing to put pressure on. Surge now already on this rotation. This is looking clean from them.
Hydra and Scrap actually spawn in on the other side of the map, over towards that P2 side, and well, Surge actually find them, so no longer an opportunity to set up that pinch for a moment. That will evaporate, but Ghosty's going to hold into mid. Got Scrap trying to play out through P4 side, and well, it's just clean for Surge right now. They're finding everything that they need to. The gunfights are going their way, and they're already up by 40 points.
See a bit of a fight still going on for them as well, and people are now going to be asking, where are Thieves in this? As 0-4 on a 5 spree, a Boozer on a 7, a Neptune on a 4. The phone is ringing. Thieves, pick it up and answer. Do something onto this map. You just need some trades. It is ridiculous that there has now been 17 kills unanswered. These 3 players are just soaking up time, kills, stats, and every sort of platitude. My goodness.
I mean, we've had multiple pro against semi-pro teams today, my friend, and oh well, this feels like the widest chasm between 2 teams we've seen in a hot minute. Thieves here need to find their footing, and very, very quickly, as a Boozer just walks in for 2, a 10 spree, a Hellstorm, the ability to just continue to lock this down. He jumps up over the top of the dumpsters and gets all the information he needs, and his boys are in for the next hill as well. This is becoming embarrassing.
Rotate to rotate. Vancouver Surge are showing Thieves that they are not good enough to stand alongside them. And with an 80-point difference, Thieves will now need a break. They will need some sort of fire in the blood to get this one going. Unfortunately, Abuza is shooting rockets. Nasty staying alive. Ghosty trying to do something with low health here as well, but alone, isolated, does not have the reinforcements. They do not have the trades. He is throwing bullets at Nasty, but none of them are connecting in the way he wants.
And you can just feel the frustration in moments like that. He just wants a quick, clean kill, and he most certainly doesn't get it. Hydra will bounce in for at least a couple of points. 100 Thieves here, but 6 and 12 underneath the name of Hydra. Can't remember the last time I got to see that. And this now becomes a fight over towards P5, where Surge are already lying in wait, and the Gens is somewhere that players like Neptune have looked ever more comfortable. You get rid of him, but then Nasty answers with 2, and that numbers advantage is gone.
And maybe just the forlorn hope that Thieves could just be slow. Maybe it's a bad start, but it's going to be a bad game if they don't turn into another gear. They need to start finding some kills. They need to break this relatively quickly and get back into it. Neptune dancing, but unable to dodge the bullets that come his way. You can see the Thieves are trying to up the tempo now, get back into these trades, be more efficient. It is no longer just a one-color kill feed, but Abuza, who has been unbelievable so far, continues to be so.
Every time the 100 Thieves manage to find something, there's an answer back instantaneously from Surge. You will finally get bodies onto the point and start to clamber together a couple of points. This has been the best passage, you could argue, for 100 Thieves so far. I don't think it could have gotten much worse. But Surge will now start to set up for P1, bottleneck that connector. And, well, a couple of kills in Gen. Scrap now in through Elephant as well. Might have an opportunity to just transition here from 5 into 1, and by God, they need it.
You can see Scrap looking for it. Does drill down a player as well, but for every great gunfight he manages to get, the trade's not going through him. It's pinstripe in the kill feed. And Hydra looking to do Hydra things, and they have never needed this man more. They need him to hit that Super Saiyan level that we have seen him do time and time again in his career, because they are looking for a hope.
It's lovely from Surge as well, the way they set up that retake. They just probe different little angles and find that blood and then collapse in through the doorway to overwhelm and push Thieves away again. So yet again, we go back and forth, but it's on for that P2 rotation. Neptune's going to be cut down considering it, but both teams are going to be spawning out, so it's a foot race over to New. 04's going to tuck himself in for a little bit of time here, but then as spawn starts to roll through, it's actually going to be Scrap who's got the big job over by Burger.
Ghosty trying to set up now for the rest of this. This game is not done. This is not out of the realms of possibility. Vancouver Surge have a dominant platform to take this to victory. But the Thieves are just a couple of hills behind. A good hold here puts them back into the realm of a competitive game. But they must hold this push. It's all Surge that have gone the distance. They are throwing down everything they can. 04 wants a kill, isn't going to find it. They now need the trades.
New setup. You try and find your way in. That will get you a kill on Envoy. So you have the numbers to send. Abuza slides in, picked up by Ghosty, who finds 2. It's traded on out by Neptune. And you get yourself, your bodies back on the point if you are Thieves, but it's not necessarily clean. But that will be as you find 2, draw a better line in the sand. Still 25 seconds to play for here. That comeback starting to build. That momentum of pendulum swinging the way of the Thieves. They've still got a route to go here yet, but Surge will now know they're in a game.
And this is what they were afraid of. Thieves starting to move to more equal ground. Nasty trying to chow here, not going to get the scrap time either. Rotation at the moment technically in the hands of Thieves. They will have the better time. Ghosty has been pulling out all of the stops. Scraps hammering with that AR in hand. He's on a 6 streak himself. They need every bit of superstar muscle that they have built this team into. Unfortunately, it is not going to be so. That is ripped away from them way too fast.
Abuza with just a superb play, bides his time in courtyard, waits for his teammates to arrive, and then activates to find Scrap in the first and just split that 100 Thief setup that was starting to come through. Envoy went an extremely early rotation to get himself over this side, and it might well just be ripped away from him before you get a chance to see P4. As 04 finds 3 in the feed. Surge now mopping up a couple of points, stemming the bleeding that has started to come from the blows of the Thieves. And, well, more kills on the board. You will get ever close to that 200-point marker. Abuza turns, finds the pistol, and finds the kill alongside Nasty. And you've got a spawn flip out for Thieves. Neptune's in the backside. An opportunity to start to run away again presents itself.
Just when you thought Thieves may be bringing themselves back into this game, Surge remind them of what happened last time. Abuza also dropping the hammer. with that turn coming through. They are looking to stagger this team. This is what this is for. Oh! The needle has been threaded, the team has been wiped, and the dreams of Thieves may have just died on a kill feed.
And they won't have long either to withstand this pressure. They've got to go. You do not want Surge knocking on the doors of victory here in map 1. Hydra will find one at least. Neptune trying to cover on both fronts, needs supporting from the teammates, but look at the Thieves swarm, and they find the kills. They break on in, but of course Surge never far away.
The Boozer, 29 and 16, tries to stem the tide. It's not going to be enough. And no, Neptune is still towards the back here. Neptune finds one. Keeps his competitive team spawning with him as well. Nasty going to be out. Boozer finds a second one as well. Oh boy, feeling the pinch here as they really look for him at the same time. Pre-fire isn't going to work out, and that's a couple more points over towards Surge, who are dangerously towards the end of this game. For Thieves, it would have to be a legend now written on this map. But one, do they measure up? And two, will Surge really let this go?
Well, Nasty's done a fantastic job, by the way. It was over at P5 so early, and he hasn't allowed Thieves to get that defensive setup in place when they tried. So as such, the boys are here in numbers, in mass. 0-4 with 2. The boys break back in. There will be just Hydra to stand up against this wave, and he is swept under. And now the Thieves have to go yet again, or it's over.
There they go, look at the break. Ghost will find 2. Neptune still, though, trying to hold him as well. Hydra will find the 3rd. They are back into the point here. 0-4. First into the fire, first into the fight. Is going to fall to Hydra once again. Everybody trying to fight for their life here. It's Thieves not just on the back foot, but their backs are against the wall completely. 15 seconds and this game ends.
And breathe, if you're Thieves. What can you do from here? You need to chain 5 into 1. You don't want to do it with a teammate coming through. Do you catch 0-4 coming around the back? You do if you're Scrap, but it will be traded. So we look then towards the next hill. Surge just need to trip over the line, really, but Thieves trying to gather that momentum back into their hands. We are into 1, 9 seconds needed for the Surge.
Neptune roaring in the background as Scrap tries to hold off the five and almost finds a 3rd, but it's not going to be enough. Just 6 seconds to go. Surge know that this is in their grasp. It's going to be a contest from the Thieves. They will pile bodies into her at the same time. Abuza finds one, pistoling everything. Isn't going to get it as well, but Neptune will have his trade. More, though, from the Thieves coming in. Somehow, this game is still going. The Thieves, though, will now have to be perfect.
And Scrap will tuck himself in. Where's your supporting cast, though? Are they here? Surge trying to set up a pinch. You have 2 gen sides. You get a kill in street as well. 1 in through Elephant. And now you will start to send those numbers on forward. Hydra tries to do his best. Finds a huge kill at Elephant. Couple of kills more for Thieves. You should well get over this 200-point marker, something we didn't see coming not long ago. But Surge only have to break once.
No mistakes. No steps backward. They can actually lose it onto this point as well. This could be over very, very quickly. This could be anticlimactic. No, the contest is still going to be there. They do not get the tick. We are going over to P2, but Neptune is here because Thieves had to commit, and it ends with a whimper. But Surge carry it over the line. They will not be upset here after taking a commanding lead. As the screams roar out from the stage, they are letting Thieves know, hey, different events, same story, buddy.
It's painful for the Thieves, the way in which you started your undoing, really. There was plenty of life shown, of course, from a squad that has been dubbed many a time through this year as the super team. You're not ever going to keep a team with that talent down for a full hard point, but to start off the way that you did, a reminder, you spoke about hubris before we came into this series, and that is yet another slapdown, that there is so much talent in this scene that can contest you. Well, a lesson surely must have been learned, because they did come online, if not too late. And just as it looked like they were going to build themselves in, all the great work that you've done through the first rotation, if your Surge, just allowed you to hellstorm and artillery the entire way through that next set of rotations, rebuild your lead, and put you 1 up in this series.
Well, here goes. Surge strong once again. We'll give credit to the Thieves, though. Let's be perfectly honest with you.
Yes.
They had an opportunity. If they'd gotten that away and gotten to that P2, there would have been a different game. But that is the issue. When you go behind by that much, when you have to fight for scrap rotations as much as you do, it means you cannot just go for that easy rotation and try to set up. You will let players go through because you're spreading yourself very, very thin. Is this a case, though, of Thieves just having such an abysmal start that they couldn't make up the numbers, because they did not get a million miles away towards the end of that game.
No, I fully agree with you. I think that it's a case of if they get in for that P2, we are looking at an absolute slobber knocker of a finish. I didn't think we would get there when we saw Surge pick up, what was it, 18 unanswered kills. I think the actual difference maker is going to be Abuza. At one point, he slowed the play down, kind of slipped the net a little bit, and just as Thieves were setting up for the dumpsters hill, he puts himself in courtyard and just bides time, allows his boys to start to push up Burger side, and then find Scrap in the hill, and that suddenly lets his boys activate and just stem the bleeding, because if 100 Thieves had continued with that momentum as they were building, that would have been a very different story in this one. We're talking about a comeback for the ages. So a man who we've often spoke about as the vocal leader, the island player, the man who burdens a lot of the pressure of this Surge team sometimes, coming up big just when they needed it. But you're right, Thieves start slow. Do I expect them to continue the momentum they built in the second half of that hardpoint into the S&D? Absolutely.
As we roll through this package, you can see how close it does end up getting here. Obviously, ends on that P2. If the Thieves were there, if. Truth is, shouldn't have had that bad of a start. Once it started getting away from them, that's when they really had to fight from the back foot. As we go through the statistics here, I will say I did see Scrap really start to turn up for his team. 35 and 34, massive amount of interactions. He was everywhere trying to stem the tide.
Yeah, 4,000 damage on the board for the loss. That's a tough one for Scrap to swallow. And well, look down the board a little bit at Hydra. He doesn't even hit 3K in the end. Very much so unlike him. It's a tough map sometimes, Rewind, for an SMG to get through those lanes if your ARs aren't covering over you. So maybe that's part of the equation. But either way, he'll want to do better looking at the search as we stay on Rewind but move into this new mode. And this is where I become a little bit concerned about the fact that Thieves lost map 1 just because they've had some serious struggles in Surge as of recently. Their First Bloods in particular just have not been up to the standard that they really require. Defensively, retakes, these are things that they've just suddenly become unstuck on. But I mentioned it before, they came into the last tournament with basically the exact same strategies they'd had for the previous one before that. So it's a case of, okay, have you gone and studied? Have you got that proper practice in? If so, this could be a very different looking Thieves against the Surge.
Well, we'll find out. Team talks going on. Everybody getting ready for this one. And still, looks of positivity on the side of Thieves. They know they are not out of this yet. We don't end it after one hard point. We do go the distance. I think it was interesting. I think, obviously, Rambo Ray would love to just be on the comms all the time. Seems very happy in that position. Obviously, a change for this event. And it has had mixed feelings from the community, but hey, we'll give it a go.
Never heard to give something a try. And well, with the Surge, you have got a aggressive play here from 04 up through Burger, puts the nade out. Can you find the blood? The answer is no. And well, progress made towards A for 100 Thieves. The problem is your two boys deep back are well isolated from you and separated. So this feels like a push on two different fronts.
Well, nasty. Trying to just drill them down here as well. 3 versus 3. You can already see though, but Scrap finds Nasty. Now backing up. It looks like they might try and take a bit of control. Almost finds I4, just sort of looks in for a second, and Boozer gets him. Now down to a 2 versus 2. Players spread across this map. It's a bit chaotic, but Hydra finds probably one of the easiest kills you will ever do in S&D.
Yeah, complete misread there for whatever reason. 04 gets himself to 18 to look over.
Still looking. That bomb has not gone down. He will check bomb sites. Doesn't see anyone on B, so he knows it's probably going to be an A hit. Can he get in the right position for it? Now it's gone down. Unfortunately, already taking the bonus and goes straight down as well. Thieves get that round back from the ball they really need. And the fans very appreciative of that fact.
A concern for them at a point there midway through that round. You had the situation where essentially you're pushing on two different fronts, very isolated. You almost find yourself in weird pockets of space that was surrounded, and especially losing that first blood as well. Thieves have done very well to claw that one back. So the Surge, who feigned for their aggression on their offensive rounds in S&D, find themselves a little bit unstuck, tend to be more passive on their defenses. And let's see how Thieves measure up then on their own attempt to move the bomb.
Here we go. A little bit of a push. A little bit of a showdown. Neptune does find Envoy. There's the first blood. And there's a bit of a fight though, and Hydra will find a Boozer who just gets caught flat-footed, going for the reload. Tries to go for the beat down, but was not quick enough to get it away at 3 versus 3.
And that bomb has moved quickly to B. Goes down. Nasty's got the coverage, gets the intel at the very least, slips away, finds himself a different angle, but look at that pinch attempt coming through as Hydra hits the backside, but Neptune finds it. That extra AR coming on through, and 0-4 cleans up in the courtyard. It's a 1v3 for Ghosty.
Ghosty looking for one. Unfortunately, already been stunned, already been outmaneuvered, and Surge will take that straight back again. 1-1 now between these two teams.
Offenses on top here. I misspoke at the end of the previous round. It was, of course, Thieves taking their own offense in that round one. So it's who can stand up tall in defense. And again, for Thieves, this has been a common theme recently where the defenses just haven't panned out very well. So it's finding the answers. Both squads finding exchanged blows here, but of course, no haymakers this early. It's simply testing the waters.
Aggressive push. They are going for this in numbers. Everybody up, everybody into position very, very quickly as well. And while they find it, they catch them. Surge were not ready for the blitz.
You get that bomb down extremely quickly, 2v4. Neptune's trying to find an angle from backside RV, and well, 0-4 gets sniffed out, surrounded, collapsed on. Neptune is on a 3 spree, and well, yeah, there was a case of do you try and maybe back off for an RCXD, bait out an exit killer too. Doesn't even get the opportunity to do that. Clinical from Thieves. Almost a taste of Surge medicine there with the aggression.
Let's see. Chess game now going on. Great Call of Duty minds, both sides of the stage working out. Everything from breaks to play calls, post plants and more. That was certainly something out of the playbook there from Thieves. An absolute rush to B point. They get the kills they need to. They lock it in very, very quickly. It will now go onto the other foot. It will be Vancouver Surge who get to dictate the terms of play.
Sending a Boozer off to watch that street as they so often do. And trying to find that information around A. I'm not sure if 0-4 stun catches anything, but Neptune's most certainly doesn't. You have Nasty held off here, but look at this defensive line from Thieves. It's passive. They're happy to give up A and play retakes if required.
Taking the control here as well. Neptune, that's a huge kill on the Ghost. He opens it up a little bit. They've got to be careful, though. They don't have complete map control. They're worried about the bomb plant. Player moving up now, slowly but surely. That will be Nasty, who will be required to get it down. Neptune finds one as well. Envoy unable to really get that kill. Eventually does get the trade down to 2 versus 3. Bomb will go down as well. Advantage to Surge.
And now look at this spread from Surge. Boozer has not taken his eyes off Elephant side. Hydra will get a little bit of damage, a bit of a tickle. Doesn't know Nasty's behind the dumpsters. Big kill. Boozer comes through. Envoy will find one, but it is instantly traded. And the Surge continuing to show the pattern of offenses on top here. Well, the Thieves stands in the venue are trying to lift the spirits and find a way to will their team into a lead here. But of course, the Surge never one to be down for very long. Thieves are going to have to find a way to tidy up their defensive woes, and these first bloods as well, currently being led by Vancouver 3-1. This is fundamentals that we're talking about, that if the Thieves can fix, can turn them back into that incredibly strong S&D team.
Here he goes. Thieves going inside, control already, checking a few angles here. Envoy just making sure there's nobody hiding in any corner that can get him very, very quickly. Hydra waiting for the push as well. Big kill if he can make it already. That's the first blood going to go down. Bomb down as well. Thieves now sitting in the driving seat.
And Hydra just survives by 7 HP, but runs into Nasty on the way out. The setup is wide from Thieves. You have Scrap coming in through Gens, but Neptune does incredibly well. Envoy at least gets the trade. It's a 1v2. Nasty's going to be on the Burger side. It's whether you can spot Ghosty here. You do. You've got about 15 seconds to play with.
He knows where Envoy is as well. He's got it out, put a couple of bullets into him as well. Now, does he go straight for the defuse or does he go hunting? Hunting it will be. He's hoping for the right timing, and no, the beat down. Envoy reflexes, and the gun butt will settle that round in the end. They both called it correctly.
Gets a bit nervy for a moment there if you're a Thieves fan. But you do seal off another offensive victory. It was a brave play call. Happy to get aggressive there, especially considering that you were so far spread. You weren't worried about your map positioning or your post plant in the immediate moment. You were happy to just play off of each other in the ensuing gunfights. To Vancouver then to scoop that bomb and send it forward yet again. Do we get a change in the flow?
Stun check from nobody, as we can see, fortunately, because we have COD vision and the minimap. Bit of a push here from Surge. You can see they're just checking out the angles, not being too aggressive. Hydra is waiting by 18-wheeler. And he will wait. He's not going to be sun checked. He's going to be calling this out with a feet. Looking for the kills now as well, but he stands up and finds nothing. Down though, is down to a 3 versus 3. Ghosty trying to get something back as well. Scrap will come in onto Neptune. And the Thieves put themselves in a better position one more time as Scrap continues to fire on all cylinders. And that is another round for Thieves.
It won't show on the scoreboard, but great work from Hydra there. Just lays in wait, spots a lot of feet underneath the 18-wheeler and gives that information to his teammates. Surge aren't aware that a rotation's coming through from the Thieves, so when they find that first kill, there's all of a sudden a swarm of bullets on top of them. And, well, through Crimson and Hellfire, it will be the Thieves finally taking a defensive round. They are down 4-2 in First Bloods. Still struggling there, but finding ways to overcome in these rounds.
So far, so good for Thieves. And now they are on the attack. Play call, looking like they're going to take street control, maybe get in towards A, but already looking for 04, who's been very, very aggressive, but it will go down to a 3 versus 3 as it is a trade. And now, if you're Thieves, you're rethinking your position. The play call inside hasn't paid out that time around. Neptune up top as well, finds Scrap. Sneaky, sneaky play as he gets a second as well. Ghosty was ready for it, but Neptune even more so. And now Hydra in a 1 versus 3.
Just trying to find a freebie, but look at the Surge converge. Start to play around each other. Recognizing that Hydra is most certainly a player capable of a 1v3. And there's no reason to hand him over a couple of easy ones. So Hydra's going to have to do this the hard way with 35 seconds on the clock.
Thieves have set up a battle line. Non-moving, overlapping lanes of fire. Hydra has already been seen. He's looking for it as well, hoping for an incredible shot and a couple of bullets going through, but 2 guns against 1. They end up taking that one as well. Surge get another round onto the board. This S&D is not over.
Refusing to go away. If there's ever a sentence that it feels like sums up the Surge in their gameplay, it's just forever being there, constantly pushing the opposing team to the limit, never giving them the moment to breathe, to feel like that they can relax, and wearing them down. A reminder, if we go the distance in this series, if we go the distance inside these maps, there's no team better at the minute than the Surge when it comes to clutching up.
Now these teams have fought already for 7 rounds. Going into the 8th, play calls will probably be a little bit more reserved, trying to get things done, but Hydra finding the first. Again, another trade. Neptune will get 2, but gets traded again. No blow unanswered for these 2. And when it goes down to a 2 versus 2, it's about who are the better players in the better position, and already a little bit been seen here. Scrap could be caught. We know Nasty is waiting.
Nasty with that Jackal in hand up close would be favored against the AR, but well, the timing goes all over the place. Nasty finds one, Nasty explodes for 2. And that will tie us back up then. A defensive round answered with their own offense. And well, Scrap sees that player deep. He recognizes that this must be an A play, rotates over, and well, it's all timings as Nasty slips the net.
Well, they do say it is precision beats power, but more importantly, it's timing that beats speed. And that's exactly what he got there. Perfect timing after the patience to wait. Ghosty obviously went around the corner. He found both, but won the gunfights, and that brings us back to 4-4. Nobody knows who's going to win, and that's the way we like it.
3-1 hit for Thieves coming through here, but it's actually a full B send here for the Surge. So Thieves have an opportunity. Of course, they don't know that. We get the blessing, but well, the RCXD, I believe, being used to try and flush out A, and it doesn't come to anything. So Envoy with an opportunity to plant.
Got to be careful. Look at the minimap. They are surrounded. They might not know yet, but they will do soon. Scrap already fighting. They are trying to hold the angles here as well, but Ghosty, that is a massive pick onto 04. Helps reinforce the lines, helps everything that they need. Nasty's still going to be on the far side. They know he's going to be here as well. They've got a Boozer towards the back. They've got Neptune who's going to go for Ghosty. Ghosty looks like he might just got a bad timing. He checked his own flank, but I'm not sure he's going to get this at the right point. They are very, very close, and he will go down 3 versus 3.
It's how you set this up, and well, Abuza will find one by Jen, slips inside, and now recognizing the play, slips off towards Connector, but you don't see Scrap, who's actually just hunkered down inside the A site. So that intel won't be going to Neptune. Do you read it? Doesn't matter, you're dead anyway. 1v2 for the young god.
Surge's big gun. Wants to try and make a 1 versus 2, but he has no time. Cannot check the corners as effectively as he would like to, and Thieves move towards map point. 5 to the good for them so far. And it was a bold play call as well by Surge. They went for an essentially huge map control play. They were all the way around, gone to the flanks. Ghosty shut that down, made them worry. In the end, the clock meant they could not continue to get the trades in, but every round we've had in this S&D has been a battle.
A war of attrition that must come to an end at some point. But is it with a Thieves defensive round, or the Surge, with their famed aggression here, still have plenty of tricks up their sleeve? Neptune 12 and 7 will lead the line.
Neptune going into it as well, does have some backup. The Thieves are deep. They are watching each other's back. They are basically all sitting on top of each other. That's a huge gunfight. Abuza versus Scrap. Neither gets away from it as well, but Envoy finds Neptune. The wall bang through the shelving. Advantage here now for Thieves. The echoes of victory already starting to sound if they can convert this advantage.
I like what the Thieves are doing here. They're happy to force this to be a retake situation. Hem Surge in. Envoy doesn't want to hit this by himself, though. He wants the numbers to surround. Look at Hydra on that big long flank. Do you read Abuza? What are your timings like?
Bomb's going to go down. Envoy finds Abuza as well. Now a 2 versus 4. Now a 1 versus 4. Nasty would have to go God mode. Isn't going to happen. Scrap shuts it down. As everybody erupts across the stage, Thieves find the tie in the S&D. And it means we get to see at least map 4 between these two.
And if you wanted to answer a couple of questions here as the Thieves, Rewind is a map that you have liked through this year, but you still recently have struggled with those first bloods, with those defensive rounds. We started to see that things be fixed as they went on through that map. But also, it's the element of belief being put back into this team that they can fight against this Surge squad. That had been 4 maps in a row that you'd now lost against them. You've answered back, put your way into the series, and, well, you can feel the energy in this room, my friend. You're stood alongside me. Suddenly shifts.
It does. If anything, maybe just a bit of confidence for Thieves. Obviously, it didn't go well for them last time they played Surge, but this time they do have a map back off for them. But this was a close one. Consistent trades across the map. Over and over again, it came down to 3v3s, 2 versus 2s, 1 versus 1s. But Thieves are the better team at this moment, and they tie the series up.
Looking through this highlight package, I mean, so many players played extremely well. I think Neptune's going to finish like 12 and 7 here for the loss, which is an incredible individual performance. I think Hydra's had a couple of plays that won't show on the scoreboard that really helped his team succeed. Thinking about that one at 18-wheeler where he just lies down, waits, and basically spots feet as players are allowed to rotate off the back of that intel. But honestly, felt like a good moment for Envoy. I think there's been a couple of questions recently about some of his performances, and all the way through this was a big part of whether it was first bloods, big trades, moments that his team really needed him to step up in. He was there.
It really was. I do like the fact that they were so evenly matched and clearly had so much research done that we saw wallbangs, we saw positioning. They knew where players would be. They went for the trades. It was never that clean for either side when they put a plan into action. And that's what to expect. That's what we're looking forward for here. Thieves versus Surge. We knew it should be a good game. Disappointed last time round. So far, looking pretty good.
And getting confirmation, of course, as we take a look at the board, Envoy does finish 11-5. Doesn't lead the damage in this lobby, though. Neptune 12-8, nearly 1,500 damage is a quite ridiculous performance. And we've seen of him, he's able to literally do it all, hop between the SMG and the AR as and where the strategy depends. But it won't matter. They will fall regardless. One apiece. And I'm with you, my friend. I think this is a series setting us up here to really shine through today. But after 2 maps, we can't separate these two just yet. Of course, we've got up to 5 to find out the answers to a lot of questions. Is the redemption arc ongoing, or is this the same old Surge story? We'll find out after the break.
We're shining, no different than light or diamonds. It's just who we are, no stopping us. Supernovas don't burn out. Just listen if you feel like there's something missing. We live only
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to EWC. Here on the second stream, we have a game for you. Vancouver Surge and the Thieves are going head-to-head. 100 Thieves taking that S&D just now. And realistically, this has given us a game on our hands. Obviously, a matchup recently for these meant the Vancouver Surge came out on top. But that story is old history. What stands in front of us now is at least 2 more maps. And I'm hoping for a game 5.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, my friend, especially with the Thieves fans in attendance here beneath us as well. That's who you can hear getting loud, ladies and gentlemen, inside the arena. If we do get to that Game 5, that suits the Surge based on record because of how much they've been a clutch team through the season. But the Thieves, there's an extra bit of steel about them when they came back out. They're ready for this. They're happy to wage war all the way through the rest of this evening, if so down required. They've, of course, on that redemption arc. This is about revenge for them and proving that they are one of the favorites here, one of the top dogs for the Esports World Cup.
And the question everyone will be asking, everybody who's tuned into this game, is this Surge's opportunity to go further than they have done before, or is this Thieves back on top? A grudge match born out of opportunity. Realistically, these two teams have gone head-to-head before, but the scores are always ready to be settled.
And for this team on the opposite side, Surge, this is about answering back. What's your mentality like? So often through this year, we've seen that it is unwavering. But we know how much lies in the balance here, the mental games at play, the stakes that hang here. This is looking like a much more relaxed Thieves team after that Map 2 victory. But Map 3, the control, this is something that the Thieves have been able to rely upon through this year. They've arguably been the best team in the world for some time at the mode. It didn't save them in the last tournament, and notably against the Surge themselves. Comic setting up. Neptune in great spirits as we get ourselves loaded in. Both of these teams looking to just guarantee that qualification on through to bracket play. Not have to play a decider tomorrow. And the fist bumps go out. Couple of sits forward in seats as the players prepare to load in. Again, I interviewed yesterday Scrap and Ghosty, talked to them about the pressures that they face as a quote-unquote super team, as a team that bowed out early last time round. And well, they said it's not about any of that. The titles, the legacy, the claims, that can all go to one side. This is all about this tournament, what lies in front of them right now, and it is a control on Vault.
Well, let's find out. Which way does the wind blow? Which way does history be told? At the moment, just a little bit of dancing, a little bit of positioning. 0-4 going deep, looking for the players already, but will be picked up by Ghosty before he does too much damage.
Back 4 all over the place. 2 kills for Surge here. Hydra will get that kill coming on through. You have not gone very far here if you are this Surge pressure. Neptune just trying to buy time. Does get enough so that 0-4 can activate from the top, and he finds 2. There will be more company in Ghosty, and surely that's one that Ghosty's going to want back because 0-4's found the kill and sent Thieves back in.
Aggressive play, just finds the bodies he needs to find. Thieves now will have to regain some map control. Scrap trying to thread the needle here, but will be picked up by Neptune. They are being farmed a little bit in the spawn. They've got to be careful. Hydra will be out, trying to do the same thing on the other side of the map.
Oh, it's a bit of a mess. Goes for the bomb and unfortunately doesn't come through, but that's 3 dead in the feed. Ghosty with 2. We get loud. Envoy finds the 4th. That should let you squeeze forward. Bodies now onto both points. Force this Surge team to scramble and go and get themselves into the positions for the fights.
Envoy winning that fight with 5 health, didn't even care. Trying to go for this one as well.
Oh
the strafing coming in, and it will be 0-4 who picks up both. But now just waiting. Can they get A locked in? They've already got 2 ticks to the good. Not the easiest to see, but I assure you there is.
Yeah, the steel blue or whatever it is that we're rocking at the minute may deceive the eyes for the moment, but what certainly will not is that the Thieves have secured A. And Abuza now trying to set up a bit of a pinch through the backside. You completely miss Hydra tucked into Hookah, and he's actually potentially going to get in through the back line because he's been missed. So a huge fight over there as Hydra will find 0-4. So Abuza's now going to find his way in through the vault to kind of split this setup that the Thieves have. That contest will tell everything, but you have art control. You're on the point, but do you see Neptune coming?
Neptune's not able to get anything either as well as Scrap hits the high time. And already they are pushing them back over and over again. They have to get past Envoy. They don't really have the time. That is seconds away from being completed. And Thieves strike first in this control. And Momentum has just firmly entered that side of the stage.
Almost with a whimper if you are the Surge. Felt like you had a moment where you bullied Thieves back into their spawn, but just gaps in the setups. Hydra there getting past Abuza through hookah, through square side, and just into that backline. Upset them so much that allows Envoy into top art. And from there, well, we know, my friend, we've played plenty of ranked. You're scrambling. You're desperate for anything to come your way. No mistakes were made. Thieves with an ironclad grip on that B point to take our first round. But how do the Surge strike back?
Well, that is something we need to see. At the moment here, well, one round is good. Obviously, still an awful lot to play for as well. And Surge not taking this line down. They're already extending here. Scrap trying to hold the line. Knows there will be more bodies against it, but will be cut down. This is all now onto Ghosty. Ghosty trying to find the kill at the same time. And I am unsure what is happening. The players are still playing, I think. I'm not sure. No, wait a second. No, they're not. We have had a technical issue. You can see the simultaneous relaxing of the players' shoulders that happened there.
Outrageously in sync.
And that was the thing. And we saw Ray shaking his head and then saw every single player relax for just a second. And that obviously means we've got a bit of a technical issue on the stage. Trying to find out which team has it. I am assuming it's got to be
Nasty?
Maybe. His headset's off.
Well, we've spoken so much through this series, my friend, about the way the momentum has gone. Feels like it's well and truly in Thieves' hands right now, but a moment like this could just quell that a little bit, kind of recenter the room. Give Surge a moment to talk between themselves. Just seeing right now with Neptune, Ray, of course, able to get involved in these comms at this event. So an opportunity for them to kind of steel themselves. All right, we want to do this break-off. But it felt like that was their creative break-off. And Thieves, well, they got a good look at it.
They don't seem to have relaxed completely. It looks like they're at least getting ready to go back into it. And since the staff haven't mobbed the stage, maybe just a momentary technical pause. Team's still discussing, still talking about breaks and everything that has gone down. It's not often that you get this much opportunity to talk to your team in a game like this. Of course, this gives you an opportunity to talk about the various rounds and things that have happened and what you need to do moving forward. I don't know who that benefits more, really. Obviously, Thieves taking that first round, going to be quite happy, but it was all onto Surge to try and do a bit more. And realistically, Surge weren't in a bad position. They'd just taken down Scrap. They've got a bit of pressure onto B. They did have a few staggered spawns going through, but it was quite early in the round for it.
Yeah, it felt like if they'd picked up that kill against, I believe it was Ghosty coming in through mid. So if they'd found that kill, I mean, it looked like B was theirs for the taking. And we know how much easier it is to secure A with 2.5 minutes on the clock than B. That would have been a fantastic break-off, and well, that becomes part of the question. Do we see a very different defensive rollout here from Thieves? Something that stacks heavier into B? Do you get that blind counter coming out from Surge? Do they just send all bodies in towards A? We will, of course, find out very shortly, but the mind games inside the arena well and truly on.
Yeah, plus, very upset at these teams right now because they've got hand warmers, which is unbelievable because it is not cold.
No, it is not.
But hey, anything to keep that dexterity rolling and a rumbling. Players obviously just settled down now. When it comes, there's not a ton more to talk about. You probably don't want to overanalyze things at this point. Just casual conversations about what break we are going to make, what pressure we are going to put on. Teams settle in for this one, but I think we are looking to get this lobby reset and rolling very, very shortly. Nobody's leaving the stage, so that's always a good sign.
And you can see here players just calling about what it is that they want to do. Of course, I mean, I don't know about you, my friend. I'm no lip reader, so I'm not sure what's being said. But no doubt from the Thieves, plenty of talk about, okay, the Surge very focused on B. They took great control with at least 2 of those ARs stepping up, one of them out on outer palms. How do we make sure that that doesn't unseat us on a defensive round? Because you've just stolen away an offensive round. And I say stolen, it was a heist for sure. That you absolutely smashed through Surge. But you don't want to then immediately hand that back. You gain all that momentum, you take a hold of that opportunity. You don't want to then welcome the Surge back into the game for free.
You do not. Still seeming pretty happy. The ever-present cheeky grin of Scrap. Hydra obviously also in high spirits. Looks like it might be Hydra actually they're having the issue with as he tries to get back into it here. Everybody just settling. Everybody waiting.
Yeah, it looks like it could well be Hydra, and a half shake of the head is not reassuring. Nor, ladies and gentlemen, we do of course have staff trying to sort out the situation. Although then again, the fact that there's not on screen suggests that it's not a major issue, and hopefully we will have the French Phenom back in our lobby pretty quickly and ready to go. And the comms start to flow then from Scrap. Is that our sign? Is that our symbol? Well, that certainly is one. That is your key. You are here to protect the Esports World Cup. Ensure that it doesn't end up crushed, or even worse, inside someone else's trophy.
Yeah, I mean, and actually these two teams would probably be the keys that get taken for that one. Big scalps to take, and well, the fist bumps, they tell their own story. That means that they've just loaded into the map, and as we go through the loading process, we'll be seeing that game very, very shortly. Everybody locked back in. Still an awful lot of Call of Duty to play here at EWC. And I'm hoping it's every bit as thrilling as the stuff we've seen so far.
It has been a long day one, but we are being blessed with some great matchups here towards the back end. I'm wondering if we get an update on what happened on main stage. Last we heard, Omit were up 2-1 against FaZe, and we've got to see the winner of that game later on here today. But we are off and underway then, round two. Thieves on the defensive. It's a very different look for Surge this time. None of that big B aggression. Something a little bit more standard. Wide net, you find the first blood. And Envoy's cleaned up as well. So pressure coming through, but look at Neptune. He's already into square.
This is a big aggressive push here. Of course, you know, they had a lot of time here to talk about breaks and everything going forward, but control is fluid after that first wave of kills. Ghosty trying to see if anybody pushes too far, and eventually will get the kill. Much to the detriment of his teammate, but it's all going to be about Vancouver Surge. Now onto the point. Hydra going low, hoping for a pick in this position.
He's praying, I think, for his teammates to be somewhere nearby, just to provide some pressure so that he can spring up from underneath. Does not get that support. 2 kills come through for Surge. That's 2 ticks. And this is that transition moment. Do you decide to send again, or do you just set up for B? Thieves, looks like they're just going to try and hold the outer for now. Allow that A point to fall. 2 minutes on the clock, but you're at least in the positions to contest.
Got to be careful. Envoy in the backfield. They'll be looking for him before they move forward too much. They do not want to leave him there to farm more players. Here comes a double chow. They know where he is. And out they go. And, well, the stun hits at the perfect time as well. Backfield cleared. And now Hydra's like, all right, well, if you take him out, I'm going to do the exact same thing. They have lost control of this one. Hydra will now be the second player to be a problem. And he finds another. Surge is like, oh, my goodness, we have to get control of our own spawn before we do any more. 0-4, looking for Ghosty, though. We'll find it at the same time. Players towards the back of the once again. And it's still Hydra. Hydra is still alive and still running rampant into this one, eventually taken down by Neptune, and the tides are shifting. Envoy's now gone back to do it one more time. He will be on the flank, but the rest of the team are struggling.
Yeah, Thieves overextend here. I mean, you do still have Envoy in trophy, so this has worked for you in some ways. There's no foundation for the Surge, but you didn't have your own defensive setup in place either, so that cordon that doesn't exist is walked straight through. Pinstripe feed, though. That supports the Thieves and their defensive push. 55 seconds left on the clock. Got to start making progress. A body will step on. Envoy's trying to apply pressure, but this backline's being hassled by Neptune.
And they keep overextending here, Thieves, just trying to keep on the back foot, but it hasn't worked now. Surge in the premier position. Abuza will be looking for at least a kill here. They're going to know where he is. Hydra just cleans him up like it's nothing. Hydra for his second, not going to be able to grab 0-4. Will be able to grab Neptune, and the Thieves have fought back valiantly from that position as well. It is not over.
Certainly not, but Hydra starting to find his dancing feet as he slips around the corner and delivers yet another 8 and 5, 4 in a row. And just trying to assess for information here, throw a couple of shoulders. Where's this hit coming from? I can tell you for free that Nasty's going to be looking to play down poolside. And there's a hit coming in through Vault as well. So Hydra here needs to find this kill, and that will allow him through the back now to potentially counter pinch. But Surge got to go 15 seconds on the clock.
Neptune goes in first, does get cut down. Hydra, though, still rocking off of that respawn. The 5 streak for him as well, and that locks it down. I think the Thieves, their overextension, it caused too many problems for Surge. They will go up in this control, having just a wonderful time.
In the end, you succeed with the overextensive play. I was a little bit worried. It did get nervy when you suddenly had Surge players slip the net and get up towards Art. But they never capitalized. You clawed your way back into it. And potentially a couple of lessons learned if you are the Thieves about when you do and how you go about getting yourself into trophy. And never really giving the offensive team an opportunity to set up a foundation. But 2-0 up and looking great if you're the 100 Thieves. No doubt feeling that way as well. As we get glances at the players on stage, a more stern look on the face of Byron, otherwise known as Nasty here, as Surge, well, they've got to find a way to be pretty much perfect or face being behind in this series.
Well, here we go. Hydra, who, let's face it, is on a 6 streak, has not had that strong of a series so far. But hey, it's good to finish strong if he can do so. And they will be relying on him now, looking for a bit of a push again here, but already teams have fallen by the wayside, and they are trying to isolate these players here. Scrap some outpoints too. He's like, no, I don't care if I'm outnumbered. Yeah, I am not outgunned.
Oh
as he
God.
finds the first. Hydra will get another one. The dynamic duo of these two, the core of the super team, have erupted. A 10 streak between them.
Got to be careful this hit through lights, though. Do you see it come in 0-4 and Nasty deciding to wait up? Actually, they finally split ways, recognize they're trying to do the same thing and find ways to collapse. 2 kills in the feed. Huge fight, though. Scrap continues to go off. 5 in a row. Hydra makes his 8 in a row. These gentlemen are on 14 between them. They are not stopping. They're finding progress at A, and they're so far advanced right now. Surge, they're having to change tack entirely and start to consider setting up for B.
Engine running, Afterburner's hot. It's now an 8 streak again. They are now putting them to the sword. Hydra and Scrap detonate onto Surge into this one. A's gone. B is now on the cusp. The first tick is rendered. And everybody else will now have to catch up towards them. Neptune trying to get through. Envoy trying to catch up by himself as well. A deflection for just a second, but here comes the man. Scrap towards the back. Get gunned and still alive and still running here as he finds even more bullets just spitting out of his rifle, but it is not going to be enough. Their bodies are not there for Thieves. A momentary respite for Surge. Can they convert this back?
Surge actually do very well here because that second tick doesn't come through. You're only down by 1 life and 90 seconds on the clock. It's certainly a winnable position on the round. I don't know how much that makes you feel better for the context of the entire map, but either way, you live to see another day for now. As 0-4 finds 1 and finds 2 as Envoy tries to go high, but 0-4 cuts him low. And you've got to keep an eye on Hydra on that flank. Neptune's certainly trying to sniff him out, and as you do, there's more pressure coming on through, but Vancouver have entirety of street side control.
Bosa knows he has to keep fighting this back foot, doesn't want to let it go for a second. And they have just managed to make this more of an even game. How on earth, I am unsure. Scrap and Hydra exploded with power in the middle of that, but it is not over.
Hydra will be found, 45 seconds, 3 lives down. The Thieves got to weigh up 1 big hit. You've cleared out trophy, so you have somewhere to play out of. I think Scrap's trying to set up for the mid hit here. We'll get the timing as well, and 2 kills actually come your way. So if you can find this third, if you're Scrap, an opportunity to flood forward. 30 seconds, 2 lives down. Just trying to find that opening, and Abuza, he will find Hydra and cut down that route.
Scrap is non-missing, but he needs to continue this for the next 20 seconds. The rest of Thieves trying to get in a good position here as well. Scrap continuing his reign of terror. Hydra, 14-11, trying to get up to the street at the same time. They are putting the pressure now onto Surge. Ghosty already found 2 as well. Scrap on his 4 streak, slides into this point in the premier position. Nasty trying to find 1 as well. Nasty only finds Hydra, 2 onto the point, 1 already back into the spawn hit. Can they hold it? Scrap trying to get him as well. Guns Nasty, now a 5 streak for him as well. Trophy going to be out, but 0-4 grabs him, and that will not be everything at this time, but it will be as Thieves grabs that last one at the same point. And it will be a cumulative effort from that team to bury Surge on the control. And you saw an unbelievable upset there as everything went right for Thieves. They shifted to a higher gear. It does look like there is some dissatisfaction on the side of Surge. I'm unsure what happened right there at the end.
Either way, the Thieves will care less. They capitalize. They storm it 3-0. We've talked about the mental game that is at play here. This is redemption on the cards as Shane gets the crowd going. But that feels like a huge psychological blow from the Thieves. We not only can match up with you, not only can take maps away from you, but we can remind everyone that we are a super team. And super teams have superstars. And we saw Hydra and Scrap pop off there to really take control. You called it a reign of terror. I'm not sure there are words that truly describe just how much of a tear those lads went on.
16 straight between them and just kept staying alive. I've got to say, Scrap was just turning and burning everybody. That three-piece he made when he was surrounded was a sight to behold. But this gives Thieves the advantage in this series. And it has been earned in a very scrappy series of games so far.
Well, if the first two went relatively down to the wire after the comeback in map 1, this one, a blowout. Surge looking uncharacteristically uncomfortable. Usually the pace setters through the competitive year, they've been the squad that has been relentless under pressure. But Thieves, well, they delivered it in spades, and in particular, just harassing the backline. Felt like every time Surge tried to get out on those defensive rounds, you had a Scrap shooting you in the face. You had a Hydra slipping between the lines. Anything to just try and upset the rhythm of Surge and never give them a moment to breathe. Getting a look through some of the plays that happened, but keep an eye on that scoreboard top right, ladies and gentlemen. The performance from Hydra and Scrap, really, it is a sight to behold, especially Envoy, you know, going 3-7. We've seen so many moments like that where you see teams are struggling just because that fourth man's not coming online. It wasn't needed, quite frankly. They were so good this core too. And moments like this, Scrap nearly lets that one go, heart in mouth for a moment, but just harassing and pestering and never letting Surge enjoy themselves.
And you could see Surge were desperately trying to fight, but there is no replacement for displacement, and the horsepower was definitely on Thieves' side for the majority of that fight. And look at the celebration, they know blood runs hot on the Thieves' side. As said before, we got into this game. For Surge, they want to get a win at a big tournament. For Thieves, pride wounded desperately last time we saw them. An embarrassing performance for them, and they knew it as well. Gutted to go out in the fashion they did. But redemption is only ever a game of Call of Duty away.
It is indeed. And Scrap, by the way, was 16 offensive kills. And I want to go back to something you actually mentioned in a different series, and that was, we got a look at Cammy earlier on, and there was that grin across the face that spelled trouble for his opponents. When Scrap is reacting like that, when he's ready to get loud here on the stage, I don't think there's many people that you would want to be staring across at on the other side of the stage. Seeing get excited like that, you know he smells blood in that water, and that is a shark ready to take a hold of it if ever there was one.
I'm going to disagree with you there, actually.
Really?
I am, because when you see it on Cammy being confident, here's the thing, Scrap's always confident. I've never seen that man be unconfident really for any length of time. Always ready to put in a performance. It's why he came into the league and has been one of the most talked about players consistently. That's why he's been MVP. That's why everybody knows when they sit down to play against him, it is not going to be an easy ride. And has remained pretty consistent across his career. Obviously, last tournament, we'll put that one aside for now. But yeah, Scrap usually pretty confident when it goes forward. And it does seem like the players are stopping for a second, and I'm slightly unsure why.
Fair enough. Well, we will obviously find out and relay as soon as we know more. But I guess we continue with the Scrap thing. The one thing I will say is off the back of the last event, he looked shell-shocked. Yeah, that was a look on that man that I don't think I've seen since he stepped up to this tier of competition. And just to see that light, that spark back in, you've got to have thought you'd fan that flame out for a moment if you were the Surge. But, well, they come alive. And we head here to just a moment of respite. And I always think in these moments, if you're the team with the advantage, with the momentum, often these squads, they want to just bounce into the next map as quickly as they can. But it can also be a moment to let your opponents wallow in their pity. Continue to feel that pressure that you have placed them under. But, well, my friend, while we assess exactly how these mental games will play on out, it's up to the players to either be washed under the tide or rise above. And we'll find out exactly how they'll do that after this quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to EWC. Our players are seated as we continue this wonderful game that we have benefiting our screens. So far, 100 Thieves up 2-1 in what can only be described as a wonderful control for them. Surge not having a great time.
No, not at all. And in this break that we've managed to get here, you're hoping that you've managed to get your voices, your abusers, your Rambo Rays into those conversations and say, look, lads, we've just got to play our game, figure it back in from here. Don't wallow in the pity of what was a very tough loss and what will be a difficult one to stomach for sure for a team that we've called the silver surfers a little bit here. Potentially harsh considering how good they've been this season, but they want to show that they can beat everybody here and mingle amongst those top talent teams. A big loss to the Thieves here would be a hell of a blow to that claim.
Well, let's see. We've had things heating up here at EWC. Of course, close games everywhere as everybody fights for survival. But the group stage still rocking, still rolling, still having a good time. And these two teams, not really, I'd say, bad blood, but certainly a good rivalry between them. Desperate to get this win over the other, it will certainly put at least a little spark in their step on their journey to the championship.
And for Thieves, it's a much-needed step. That little spring that we've seen from them, especially early on through the season, through the mid-part. Now we take a look over. And the look on Nasty's face, well, that says just about everything, really. Got to make sure you come out here in map 4 looking as good as you did at the start of map 1. We are back on that hard point. That is the map that Surge took. But Thieves, well, they're supported by a small army of fans beneath us that you can hear, ladies and gentlemen, willing their squad towards victory and a route on through to bracket play.
The ever-present roar of passion from throats who have made the journey here to support their team. Is that energy in the air? Is it enough to fuel the fire that Thieves feel? They just need one more map into this one for Surge, a slightly higher mountain to climb. And as we go into the respawn, still very much anyone's game. Two teams right at the end of the lifespan of this title does mean the highest level of Call of Duty you will see.
And we are ready to witness it as we roll forward then into our Hacienda hard point. Looking then to close this out, if you are the 100 Thieves, Scrap going to get up on over the top. This is all, of course, watching for those P2 flip outs if need be, but it's 2 kills in the feed for Surge. Make that 3, so an opportunity to already apply this pressure.
I'm going to be looking because realistically Hydra hit some serious speed in that game earlier on. Well, we're looking to do the same thing again here, of course. A good glut of points on P1 is never a bad thing. What they will be waiting for, of course, is this P2, but Envoy knows he's going to go down at some point. It is a sacrifice he is willing to make.
So many questions to be answered when it comes to the Surge as well, because quite often they ban Hacienda hardpoint. They don't necessarily like playing here. Thieves, it's not their most comfortable map, but it's certainly one they're happy to partake in activities on. And a couple of kills through the back line here as 100 Thieves trying to lock down this P2 gate side. Abuser going to continue to threaten from lobby. Just watching for the cross here. Envoy will step out, and Envoy is cut down. Well read. It will be traded, but that's allowed the pressure from well side to come through, and they are trying to threaten. They want to flip these spawns early.
Well, here it goes. Another push, another opportunity. 0-4 getting a very important kill onto that one. Slowly but surely this net closes. 0-4 trying to get around the corner as well. Takes down Ghosty, and that will be a flip. Surge get into this point, and they bat Thieves away. Thieves obviously going to have to go for a headbutt if they want to. They're trying to get bodies in position. Last roll of the dice for him as well, but the trades do not go their way. Neptune's going to be far out. Ghosty trying to get that kill at the same time, but realistically all it does is delay, and that means Thieves will have to rethink this.
Yeah, and only 15 seconds on the clock. 100 Thieves consider instead the rotation as you find Ghosty getting exit kills. Nasty, though, slips the net. Finds Scrap, pushes on toward office, relieves that pressure as the defensive line of the Thieves has to cross the map. That allows the Surge out as well. A couple of kills en route. Ghosty's going to cut one down as he tries to touch the point. Tin is secure, but you don't have much in the way of landmass or presence or control. If you're the 100 Thieves, this is going to be relatively close fire.
Ghosty waiting. He's 8-3 at the moment, just having a wonderful time. Ghosty now 9-3 on a 4 streak as well, but doesn't have an awful lot of players to trade off here, so he is going to be a little bit alone and isolated, and does go down because of it. Teammates trying to spread out a little bit, take down the angles for him, but nobody there to back him up and allow him to play his life, and it will be a retake by Surge.
It's a great read by Neptune as well. There's a couple of players coming through the front if you're the 100 Thieves, but Envoy actually tries to play out through the middle, gets caught, lands in the lap of Neptune, and he, well, closes that door very, very quickly. You do get that break back in, 3-piece on the cards for Dylan Envoy, but now it's a crowd controlling these hallways on over towards P4. Surge will get there first. 100 Thieves having to weigh up their hits. They do have a slender lead, but they need this break to come through if they wish to maintain it.
Well, so far, so good. Rock secured. And what they've done here, the best thing is that Thieves are now staggered. It's going to take them a second or two to get in a position to take it on, but already that was full throttle. They weren't holding around. Abuza gets one as well now, and again, that's a double nade by Hydra. That is ridiculous. 0-4 now wonders where on earth his teammates have got as Thieves break back into Rock.
Beautiful Skynade out of Hydra. Those are the things you practice for moments like that, and he executes as his squad need him to. So you hold on when it comes to the lead. You will get that contest coming through. You're not overly bothered about contesting this if you are the 100 Thieves. You shut down the doorway push and force the other players into your lap, and Hydra finds two, scrap with the others. And beautiful work from the 100 Thieves here, continuing to hold that lead, extend it out ever slightly, now trying to change 4 into 1.
Well, the French Phenom fired up in the control, and now into the hardpoint continues that momentum. And it is something you do not want to see if you are a Surge fan. Hydra on all cylinders, purring as he continues to play his life. The rest of them going down. They do not have control at this point at the moment, but Hydra just trying to keep the pressure on. Gets another one now, onto an 8 streak. Will eventually go down to Nasty as well. Game still pretty well balanced. It will be Thieves in the lead, but how long can they maintain it?
For now, all the kills going the way, and how the hell 04 walks away with that one, I don't know, but he'll take it. It allows him to just shift the Thieves off the point for a moment. Neptune to provide support as well in the top hallways. You might miss one in open. He's going to drop down. That is what's left of Ghosty. And now it's about P2 as we look at our final 20 seconds. Surge will be on the right side for that. And we've got to remember, call back to last time. Abuza did great work to open up that playthrough for Gates, but it might be Envoy to be the difference maker this time as he squares up through backside.
This is crucial for Surge. It's all about evening the score. For Thieves, it's about putting one of the nails in the coffin they need to. Ghosty trying to get in position. Will he find his fight? It is. That is massive from them as well as they get back into it. Ghosty tries to get out towards the back here, but 04 holding strong. They're looking for the spawns as well as 04 continues. And it will be Thieves that have thrown this away just a little bit. They've given it to 04 and knocked it back on them. This is what Surge needed as they now come right back into this game. And this could be all tied up after this point.
No, I handed him plenty of praise after the control, but I've got to back on what the hell he was thinking trying to challenge from that distance with a Jackal. Fantastic player, absolutely, but an AR is always going to win that. And now Thieves then, they weigh up a hit from the front. You are going to have Hydra arriving through the middle. It's wherever you can time it. And it's not going to matter because 2 kills go the way of Surge anyway. You mop up the last of this, you take the lead, and everything that the Thieves have built becomes simply crumbling ashes around your feet as Surge will their way over and over again back into this fight. Rotation last time was far cleaner for the Surge, but 100 Thieves, they've got that advanced line drawn. They have a body in the hill for new.
With that lead change, will there be a bit of a shift here? Not for this guy, not for Hydra, not for the Phenom. 5 in a row. As he continues to say, hey, watch this. Hydra again looking for prey. Nobody coming to challenge him yet. Here comes the push. Abuza versus Hydra. And that is actually bad timing for Hydra. He will go down to Abuza as they do get a bit for it as well. Abuza will find a second. 04 will find a third. Scrap now holding on by the fingernails to this point with what was all theirs.
He was expecting to get pushed close, runs out with the knife to try and get that instant kill. Unfortunately, the player he was up against had waited and baited. So you break. If you're Surge then, Ghosty, going to try and contest from archers, he'll be cleaned up. Thieves are spawning a long way away from this, so it's whether or not you hit it again. You decide, no, we're going to rotate on over towards Rock. Looked very comfortable here last time as they had to break, but what's your hold looking like? It won't matter. Nasty finds one, Abuza with another. Envoy just trying to hold on for a half second, tries to delay, throws a shoulder up and over, and 04 finds one, but Ghosty turns for 2. It will be traded out, so it will finally land with Surge, but there's pressure here.
And both teams still continuing to pile bodies into this point. Everybody not got a control on it yet. Hydra laying down. Teammates going to be with him as well. Everybody stacking both sides. Trophies ready to do the work, but Abuza finding two. 0-4 taking down Nasty. It gives a little bit of a breath here now for Thieves, but they will not find any more trades onto this point. It is going to be Surge who wrest control away. And now Thieves, looking so strong earlier on, find their lives and their points going away from them.
Hydra will be sniffed out. 100 Thieves here, gonna send towards this P5 yet again. Scrap gets in, Scrap going to have support as well. Will fall to Neptune, and Neptune finds both. So a little bit of a lead now handed over as Neptune finds everybody. Great passage from him, 4 in a row on the point. That's also going to allow you to get Hall's control, but look at this split spawn for Thieves. They've got a pinch set up for them.
Already onto it. Bleed everything out of P when you can as well. Nasty also finding fights here. Thieves floundering a little bit as they go for this rotation, trying to find something. Hydra will find the first. The players already got off the point at the same time, and it's a long-range gunfight, but it will be Scrap who eventually cleans it up. Thieves will be on it. They will not rest on their laurels here onto P1. It is not secure in any point of the word, but Hydra, this could be an unbelievable flank for him. Finds the first, almost sees the second, but now goes for another one. Challenge towards the back here. All this does is generate time for Thieves.
Continuing to trickle away at gaining these points and slowly erode that lead that the Surge have. That being said, you get back in. And the thing is, this is an important 20 seconds. You don't want to give this up realistically if you're the Thieves. You might not be given the opportunity to do anything else because, well, you've got company in lobby. Nasty going to be backed up by Abuza. Hydra's doing his absolute best with the backside because these spawn controls could be everything for this matchup.
Boys versus Hydra. This time it will be Hydra. And last time around, Thieves did throw this point away. They cannot afford to do it again. Already towards the back here, Abuza is going to find Envoy. They're fighting from the back foot again. Neptune going to get another one. Abuza going to get a second as well. And again, the same story seems to be told. Scrap is fighting for his life, but it will be a retake by Surge. P2 has been bad for Thieves so far in this one, and it could cost them the map.
Ghost gets caught down at fences as well. Envoy will continue to test from there. Scrap's trying to hit the lobby, but they're waiting on Hydra to activate here. Water side, and unfortunately Scrap dies as well. So Hydra, how's your hit looking? You find one. You've just got to be a nuisance. You find two. You stay alive for a moment. Do you know where Nasty is? The answer is yes, but do you have the execution? Of course you do. The French Phenom bullies his way into the point, and Thieves will live to see another day. Surge, they're already considering that rotation, and Thieves need to do not only a good mopping up of Scrap here, but get all the way on over, and you can see that Envoy's hit in.
Hydra is frustrated, just guns 0-4 down. It's like, I want to go, I want to go. He's actually going to give it up. They're going for the rotation. Hydra's like, I need to be there. I am everything right now. Ghosty trying to hold on as well. Abuza, who has been a thorn in the side of this team, is there one more time, but Hydra for the reinforcement. He's flown across the map, straight into the kill feed, and now 15 seconds for Surge could spell everything.
You've got Hydra, you've got Ghosty nearby. Hydra will clean out office. 8 seconds, you gotta go. You gotta send, the Surge will hold.
And now they're trying to get into this point here. Ghosty finds one as well. Hydra has gone down. It will be the Thieves back into this point. Envoy trying to hold it down, finds Nasty sprinting. Thieves cannot win it on this point, and you know this because Surge are already looking for a better entrance into it. They do not want to give up the rotation either.
Hydra is sniffed out in office. That's 2 kills in the feed. So Envoy, Ghosty, what do you have? It answers nothing. The Belgian brew comes through, and Neptune sends high from the skies. King of the Sea, or all over the top of the 100 Thieves. And that will tie us up here. 2 apiece, my friend. We spoke about it at the very top of this series. We're going to see the coveted Game 5.
Well, there we go. They're talking. Ghosty just lost the map. Is talking trash across the map. Oh my goodness, he is not happy. Ghosty is talking quite passionately across this. Obviously, Surge won that map. You don't normally see trash talking after a map if you lose the map. But he is making a point. They are certainly chirping at him. Now he's into the game chat. It's not enough to talk across the stage. He wants to be heard.
Bit of deliberation about a certain agreement there. And Ghosty, well, he's livid. It's cheapish on the other side, so we don't get to see the replay, my friend, but I'm, well, inclined to agree with one side, but either way, it won't matter. We will go to that Game 5. Surge answer back. They've taken both hard points now. And it felt like in this one, 100 Thieves, you had moments from Hydra, you had moments from Ghosty in particular, but Surge never went away. And as soon as they broke that P2, which they had sniffings of in the first rotation, but really figured out how to do that through the second and third, that's where they stole away so many of the points that the Thieves desperately needed.
And that erupted after that one in a passionate exchange of words. I was saying exchange, it was one player giving all his words to the other side. And I wonder just how that will continue to play out for these teams. Fans still ready, players obviously ready for even more, but what does this series deserve but a map 5?
Neptune. Oh, showing moments of brilliance that have catapulted him and his team to the very top of Call of Duty competitive. There was looks from the 100 Thieves that they were going to get back into this. A couple of passages of play where it felt like if they just synced it up together, they would find a way of stealing this one away. But Surge, as is their trademark at this point, that endless pressure, that just endless belief that they can win every map and stem the flow of their opponents, cauterize bleeding at will, sees them through. You can see the reaction from all of them. Vibes high, loading into the decider.
So much to play for as we look over the statistics. I mean, Hydra 37 and 22. It was doing everything, but you did see again Abuza just over and over again making crucial kills that they needed to make. And that was the difference. A close game between these two squads sends us to a map 5. And that map 5 is rocketing its way towards us. Who walks away the victor? Only time will tell. And speaking of time, it is that for a break. Don't go anywhere. Join us right after this.
Lately, I feel I can't find my feet. Pushing closer, my heart skips a beat, and now I'm falling deeper than I fly. I can't control it. Dark against the sky, it's not so black and white. It's like I told him. There's things that I can't fight. I just keep going. Just keep going. In my time, had dreams. Before these darker days, I thought I found my way. Quickly it fades, losing the race, closing the page.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to EWC. Game 5 beckons between these two titans. 100 Thieves and Vancouver Surge have gone the distance. Only one can win, and it's sure to be a good show.
We said at the top of the show, there is one team that has risen above everybody else when it comes to clutch situations, whether that be round 5s in controls, round 11s in S&Ds, or game 5s. There are none that are better than the Vancouver Surge. These four gentlemen have ice in their veins. On the opposite side of the stage, in the 100 Thieves, you've got players that have been here many a time before, but as of recent struggles, those wobbles that they have had, this is also walking into a map on Protocol that they do not like to play. So this could be testing for further down in through this tournament, but right now, this turf that they don't like to stand on will be separating them from a victory and progressing on through to bracket play uncontested, or whether or not they must see yet another game in this gauntlet.
Well, here we go. Hyped up, Scrap locks his team in. Big game for both sides. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, a lot of opportunity to be the victors, because everything they've gone through, every step in this series has been difficult for both sides. And only victory will soothe that burn that they've had to do to get here.
The last search and destroy in this series went the way of the Thieves, splitting the difference with one defensive round essentially. It was offenses on top, two teams that love to get aggressive. But will that be in the tight confinements of computers or up top? Well, it looks like we're certainly getting up high here as Nasty finds the first blood to kick us off.
Nasty just being a bit careful. Scrap looking for any sort of revenge onto this one. You can see the players are dancing around as well. Scrap now coming under a bit of pressure, but he will call that out to his team. Looking for 04, and again, another little bit of dodging and diving. Nasty will find Envoy. Now 2 versus 3. Ghosty does get one back. Scrap staying alive as well. They are seeding ground all over the place.
Scrap does a great job here of just ensuring that bomb doesn't get planted, allows Ghosty to come into the play. The problem is, as you try and hit, 04 backs you down, finds the kills to close out the round. And Surge, with no trophies available here in our first round, make that B play, the outside play, not trapped inside for a retake that will be met with a hail of frag grenades and Semtexes. Instead, they fight their way towards the helicopter pad, and although delayed, inevitable in the end. But again, last time it was offensive round after offensive round, both teams happy to take both away. So how do Thieves answer back?
Well, they really did lose map control. That was the key there in round number 1. Now looking for the players across the map here, you can already see the hit has come in. It's going to all be about that bottom control most of the time. Envoy may have caught that one perfectly. Semtex just under Ghosty's feet, but he's okay. Everyone's still alive. Map control a little bit in the favor of Surge here. Keep an eye on that mini-map. It's all going to be whether or not Thieves recognize this and try to go for a rotation.
Envoy finds himself isolated out by the tower, often the lone man in that location. So if Surge have done their homework, they'll know that Thieves Right now, we're waiting on his play to come through to control that boat side to ensure the big door play wasn't coming through. And 0-4, well, he's having himself a field day. Finds Scrap as well. Ghosty trapped in Grandma's. Has company in Neptune, but makes it work. Hydra turns it into a 2v2 as well. And somehow, Thieves have clawed their way back into this round.
Here we go. 2 versus 2, time ticking away. The one thing you can't beat is the clock. This does mean that Thieves will have to commit. And they are leaving it to the last second. Here they go. Underground. Must check the corners. Must go fast. We know the only person here is a Boozer. And he will now strike because he has an opportunity to shut this down. He's actually going to wait for Nasty. He's waiting. 2v2 still. Time on the clock.
Stun doesn't catch you. Unsure of positions. Your left corner was cleared for a moment, but not for very long. Nasty will get the trade. Hydra steps out, throws a shoulder, bides time, gets up on top, holding the aims. Nasty then trying to find a way into this and comes out with it. The 1v2 will come through, and a defensive round, importantly, struck first by Vancouver Surge.
Just held the irons. Didn't blink. Didn't try to get caught sprinting. Hydra was hoping for that. And for Thieves, they're disappointed. They took a risk. It has not paid off. Surge up 2-0 in map number 5.
And Thieves then have to start to figure out these defensive rounds. We've spoken about it already. It's certainly not their strong point in Surge. So often relying on their offensive firepower, but they must shut down the Surge, and Scrap will open up with a blood, and Scrap will actually find 2 boat side. So Neptune has no support coming big door, and as such, do you back off, do you stick around? Well, he might have just been told exactly what to do.
Great throwing bullets. Thieves now in the premier position. Surely a 2 versus 4 they do not throw. You can see even really Surge just worried about where to commit. They know that this is almost just a losing battle for them onto this one. But hope burns eternal that maybe, just maybe, they get a bit of luck. I don't think Thieves are going to give it to them though.
A couple of lovely shots out of Abuza there. Do strike the forehead of Ghosty, but not enough to bring him down. I'm just hoping for that overextension, and well, as Scrap finds Abuza, Neptune can shoot up there with the very best of them, but a 1v4 against this team, it won't happen. And that was far more like it from the Thieves. Blood on the board, Scrap gets boat control, and that leaves Vancouver with nothing except an ingress in through elevators, bottlenecked, bewildered, and sent packing. It's clinical from there. A couple of thrown shoulders, a little bit of hope maybe quickly snuffed out.
Well, well, well. Game still running. And truthfully, I don't know who wins this. Talent in abundance on both sides. We've walked the path all the way to a game 5. The difference between these two teams is so small.
Nasty's got a huge job here in the back line. He spots this rotation coming through, plays off the back of that intel. Hydra's actually gotten himself up into the sidewalk arches, and Nasty will actually find the kill as the bomb is attempting to be planted. Doesn't even come through. Hydra shifting, sliding, trying to find a way, and 0-4 stays alive long enough to get the support. So 3v2 then, bomb dropped, and you know where that is if you are Surge. So how do Thieves counterplay this?
Hydra's furious. Really going against it, but Scrap already finds one. Not able to get a turn and burn though. They bring this down to 1 versus 2, and that's done. Surge 3-1 now in this S&D. And they're just finding themselves a little bit outplayed here at points, Thieves. Hydra obviously found himself in a not great position as 0-4 refused to give him anything other than a shoulder shimmy shake behind that pillar.
Full credit to Byron. He very quickly hits that rotation. He was initially playing up around lockers and keeping an eye on that boat side. He quickly drops in to ensure that the bomb plant is covered over and picks up that kill on Envoy and stops Thieves' progress. So that 2 gap re-established, and it's a big hit towards A for the Surge.
Here we go. Big kill there. Scrap finding one already as well as Neptune gets away with his life, almost had Hydra dead to rights. That slide was a bit dead, but Ghosty finds another one as well. Down they go. Nasty now in a 1 versus 4. Tides turning once again. It will be Thieves that should lock down this round unless Nasty does something that will certainly spawn a Reddit thread, but it isn't going to happen. Thieves getting along back on the board, and that one was clean.
Spoken a couple of times about how Thieves on the defensive side, particularly with their first bloods, just aren't looking pretty. It feels like Scrap's really taken a hold of that situation. Again, this isn't a map that they necessarily like to play on if you are the 100 Thieves, but he's claimed both side for himself. And as such, it is funneling Surge and their aggression in through various bottlenecks that are making it easier for his teammates. You're going to have to keep that up for a little while longer yet, and you've also got to find a way to get your offenses going.
Here comes the push, and a little bit on the outside. This might be countered here. Nasty's going to be seen as well as Scrap backs off. Does have some reinforcements. Another stun check going out. Does know there's a player going to be there as well. All this information just filtering into the brains of the players, but Envoy will find that first blood. Hits coming underneath as well. Nasty will find Hydra. Down to a 3 versus 3. 0-4 will find another one though, and it will now be advantage to Surge.
And the bomb goes down. Where is your support? Well, it won't be arriving because your teammate falls. So 1v3 for Ghosty, aims in hand. You're worried about a hit from Big Door, and that's not where you need to be paying attention to. Abuza will be out here. Do you get that fight? You do get it isolated, but it will be traded as 0-4 arrives through the elevator. And yet again, a 2-round lead established for Surge. Just keeping their opponents at arm's length here. Every time Thieves threaten to get within striking distance, it is batted away. And just 2 rounds till victory for the Surge. You cannot afford for this gap to be maintained if you are wearing black, white, and red on this stage.
Here we go. This is starting to smell like a game that could go the distance. Surge, though, they win this round. All momentum shifts towards them. 4-3 is way better for Thieves than 5-2. It just is a horrible score to overcome. But here comes the push. Neptune aggressive towards B here. Already Ghosty backing up. We'll have Scrap reinforcing him here, but there's a little bit of a fight so far, and this is where they failed last time. Thieves were not able to get a handle onto this. And again, bomb will now go down. Advantage to Surge. There is a player in the backfield. Nasty is hitting the longest flank humanity has ever seen.
Well, the Ratman often gets paid and might not be needed to because 0-4 finds one. Envoy cleans that up. Recognize it coming through, but 30 seconds on the clock. Thieves have got to find progress towards this point. And 0-4, well, he clears out Lock as he also finds Hydra. So Ghosty, what have you got in a 1v2?
Knows where one player will be. Has made his way out to the helicopter. Finds one as well. No! Beaten down! And that might be more than just him in that game. That might be the very soul of Thieves has just been splattered across helicopter. They are now just 1 round away from losing this. Surge are on map and series point.
A crucial difference from the Surge coming through there and how they approached that B plant as to how Thieves did it. Surge sent in Neptune to plant the bomb, but had coverage over the top to keep an eye on that back line. Forced Scrap to back off towards the anti-air turret. When Thieves attempted that, they were overwhelmed by Nasty's presence. And Surge put themselves on the very precipice of bracket play.
Scrap looking, and already 2 down. This could be over. This could be done. The Thieves now their backs against the wall. Scrap finds one though, brings it back to a 2 versus 3. He's trying to find Boozer as well. Boozer almost gave him time of day. Eventually gets out of this fight as well, but Ghosty brings it back to a 2 versus 2. This game is not over yet, surely, but Nasty finds Ghosty, and now it's down to a 1 versus 1. Scrap versus 0-4. They are close, they are fighting, and 0-4 wins it. Surge put the Thieves down again in a tournament in recent memory. And it is a massive win for them. The Thieves unable to get it done in the S&D. And oh my goodness, all that journey, all that walking through the maps just to get blown out in the final.
And the psychological blow that comes with losing yet again to the Surge for 100 Thieves. Knowing that you will likely face this team at some point during bracket play. If you make it, of course, because now they'll have to play a decider.
Unhappy